We got John Wood joining us on the desk for a little bit, who's already been out familiarising himself with the relentless test of skill that Oakmont provides. So with that, what better way than to show you at home the beauty and the terror that this course provides than by taking you up at, I don't know, 400 feet in the air with our live drone going around the front nine. So it's time now for Covering the Course, presented by Baird. And Mark Rolfing, there is no tougher opening hole in the game than this.
Yeah, fasten your seatbelt, folks. This is the hardest opening hole in championship golf. You have to drive the ball in the fairway off the first tee. Everything cants to the right. You can see it's very narrow. If you can manage to squeeze a tee shot between those bunkers, you look like you're going down a bowling alley. It looks like you could actually putt the ball, which it might be on the green for a while, but it wouldn't stay on the green, I can promise you. Very difficult start to this course.
It's a punishing start. Woody, take us to number 2.
Number 2 is one of the best opportunities for a birdie, and I think you talk about it early in the week with your caddy and say we got to get after this one, because this is one where you can actually stand on the tee thinking you make birdie. There's a couple ways to play it. You can play conservatively, lay something up short of those fairway bunkers on the right, leave yourself probably 9-iron somewhere in there. I think most players will take on that next spot over those bunkers on the right and short of that cross bunker coming up here. Guy like Bryson, Rory, they might be able to take on that bunker, take it over that. It's about 308 to cover that. And with the wind direction this week, which should be helping and right to left a little bit, they may take it on. The challenge comes on this green. This is one of the most severe sloped green. You can carry a ball 20 yards into that with too much spin, and it's going to come 15 to 20 yards off the green. It's one of those holes you want to hit, and you can't see it, but you want to be listening for the crowd to clap right away, because if they start murmuring, you know that ball's coming back, and you're getting really nervous. But it's a good chance to make a birdie.
Harsh. Okay, on to number 3, Rolf, where you've got the iconic church pews coming into play here.
Boy, you sure do. If this hole wasn't hard enough, in the most recent renovation, they added 40 yards to this tee, so it's totally changed the dynamic of this hole. All the premium is on the tee shot here. The church pews are just going to peek out from behind that little branch right there. It's now 107 yards from the front of that bunker all the way to the back. And I'll tell you, you don't want anything to do with any of that area in there, whether you're on the grass or the bunkers. It is no good in there. Now, the bunkers on the right-hand side have also been renovated. They're deeper. The lips are higher. It's just a fairway. Again, we're going to say it on pretty much every hole. You got to be in the fairway. This is a very diabolical green now. There's a false front. Everything falls off to the front. It falls away from you once you get into the middle of the green, down the backhand side. Typically, I would say that you don't want to go long here, but I really think that now, in today's world, actually going long may be better than being short, because a lot of bad things can happen if that ball goes down that slope in the front. John Wood was talking about it earlier, where a ball won't go 3 or 4 yards. It'll go 24 yards down that hill. So I say go long if you're going to miss here at number 3.
Yeah, one of the enlarged greens from Gil Hans's restoration. That's a fascinating layout. Right now, to number 4, the par 5, Woody.
Long par 5, 611 yards. But it is a hole that I think if guys hit the fairway, some of the longer guys especially, will be able to take a shot at it in 2. If you're going for it in 2, that short right is going to be a good spot to come from, because it kind of kicks and canters down towards the green. If you miss this fairway, I think you might have to play a really conservative second shot and get it. You leave yourself up to like 180 yards for your third, because there's a bunker up there that you have to avoid on the left-hand side. If you can cover that, great. Leave yourself a wedge. It's one of the toughest layup shots on any par 5 that I've ever seen, because it's completely blind. Even if you hit the fairway and you're going to lay it up, you can't see anything over that bunker. So you've got to look at something in the distance and gauge, where am I going to leave this? See where it's pretty wide right there where the bunkers, but it pinches. All of a sudden it pinches to a really sharp dogleg right, and you've got to get that right. Anything left is a much tougher shot, because you got to go over those bunkers and you don't have as much green to work with. But like I said, anything right, even in the rough, that opens up that whole angle on the green, and there's no pin you can't get to from the right side here.
It's all about precision. Speaking of which, Rolf, par 4, 5th.
This is a stretch of holes right here, actually, where the players are thinking about making birdies, and that will be the case at number 5. It's a little bit longer than it was on the scorecard in 2016. I think it's longer by maybe 16 yards now. There is the tee right there. You can see that it's sort of a semi-blind tee shot, a little bit up the hill. Things choke off and get very narrow as they get up to bunkers on both the left and right. That left-hand bunker with the big mound in the middle is not very good at all if you get too far up into that bunker. From there, it's just a short shot. If you can get the ball into the fairway, you could really attack from here. This is the smallest green on the entire golf course. It actually fits the way the hole was designed to be played, and that is get it in play off the tee, and you can be very aggressive. So really this stretch at 4 and 5 are holes that the players are going to be thinking, let's make some birdies here.
The smallest green, but it still looks massive. These greens are incomparable to any other out there. All right, Woody, take us to the par 3, number 6.
First par 3 on the course. It's going to play anywhere from 180 to 210. I think they could stretch it out to that far, but it's not going to play that long. It's a half a club downhill, and the forecast for the wind out of the south all week will be helping. So you can take 10 off those numbers, and players will be coming in with less. The real big penal shot here is if you come up short on another one of those false fronts, it will bring it way down left. And that bunker on the left is extremely deep. That being said, you'd much rather be in the bunker, any bunker here, than in the rough, because the rough is so unpredictable. You just don't know what you're going to get out of it. And you sit there and you have to take a big enough swing to get it out, but a small enough swing so it'll stop. It's a very tough hole.
Okay, Ralph, number 7. A couple of new sort of strategic options here after the restoration.
Well, there are some strategic options, and fundamentally, this hole probably changed more than any of the other in the renovation. It was always a hard par 4. In fact, in 2016, I think it was the most difficult par 4 green on the entire golf course to hit. But you can see the tee shot sort of snuggled back into the trees here is this tee. The hole is a dog leg to the right. There you can see trouble all the way down the right-hand side. It's just sort of a gentle serpentine little hole, but this bunker that you see that's in play now that was moved literally is a 290-yard carry. If you want to try to hit it over that bunker, obviously you're not going to be able to do that with a club other than a driver. So I think a lot of players may still take a 3-wood here and play safe. Look how narrow it gets right here between the right-hand bunker and the left-hand bunkers. Get the ball in the fairway no matter what you have to do. I think even if you sacrifice some distance at 7 to get it in the fairway, you're going to be much better up because you'll be laying up from the rough. There you can see the green here. A lot going on with this green. But to me, the most important shot at number 7 is the tee shot.
And then, Woody, we get to number 8, the longest par 3 in major history.
Yeah, and it's going to get a lot of chatter because that first number is going to be a 3 on a couple of days probably. That being said, it is not a tough strategic hole. You step up there with 3-wood or driver and try and hit it somewhere around the green. If you get it on the green, great. If you miss, there's nowhere up there that's so penal where you can't make at least a 4. I think you're going to see more 3s and 4s here than any par 3 at any U.S. Open. Very few 2s, very few 5s. And that also is one of the flattest greens on the course. So even if you hit the green or miss it, your birdie or par putt will be very straight. So it's not as tough as the number might dictate.
And last but not least, number 9, uphill, demanding, big green, deep bunkers, Rolf.
Yeah, we go across the Pennsylvania Turnpike there, and there is the 9th tee. There is so much going on this hole. You hardly know where to start. It really is a very difficult and demanding tee shot. Everything kind of pinches in up in the landing area right at about 300 yards. It gets very, very narrow up there. The problem with this hole is this green is so difficult that if you're trying to hit any kind of a shot out of the rough and approaching the green, you've got almost no chance at all. So if you miss the fairway, it's an almost certain layup here, which the players will do. They can lay it up short of this bunker and be safe way back, or they can try and force it over this second bunker here on the left and get it a little further up. Either way, you've got one of the most interesting green complexes in the entire country. Why? Because it not only is the 9th green, it's the putting green. It's 22,000 square feet, and about half of it is the putting green where players practice up on top. And, of course, the green down on the bottom is where you play from. But don't miss this green on either side because it's almost an impossible up and down.
Yeah.